This is Arts Alive. I'm Lynda Phillippi. My guest is Jeanne Drevas, and she is a local artist who lives outside of Sheridan, will be featured on the Art Harvest Studio Tour coming up the first 2 weeks of October. So, welcome.
Thank you, Lynda.
Glad you could be here today. Now, I think, have you been on the show before?
Yeah, last year was my first time. We're kind of new to the area, and so it was just a great experience. We kind of opened up the whole house, which is a wonderful passive solar house, and I've done wild mosaics in the bathrooms. And so when people come to our house on the artist tour, they get to see everything.
All of it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I knew, I couldn't remember if it was your second year or your third year, but I know you've been in the area about 3 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Just barely.
So, you are at this point not a novice any longer.
I guess.
You're experienced.
Yes.
And obviously you must have enjoyed the experience enough to want to do it again.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I just think it's wonderful to get to meet the public, because we are just sitting in our studios, you know, doing what we do, and it's really wonderful to have all that great feedback. And on one of my main focuses for the tour, helping the tour get together, is some educational opportunities. They're going to be at the Chehalem Cultural Center, and hopefully next year it'll be even a bigger opportunity for students to come and take classes.
So you'll go there and do some presentations and things like that?
Well, a number of artists will be teaching there.
Okay.
In between the two tour weekends.
I love it. I think that's great. So when I first met you, you were doing a lot of things with wood and that sort of thing. And I can see from what you brought with you today, and I know also we have some images, that your work has sort of shifted a bit. You want to talk about that?
I lived in the same place in a very rural area for 40 years, and I was young, and I built my handmade hippie house, and I just, when we moved here, just everything has changed for me. And I think I've just been more inward in what I want to express out of my work, and also the aging process has taken me out of the woods more than I was in before. And so I've just...
Now you stick to the wheelchair path, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, our house is really set up for that.
That's good. Thinking ahead.
Yeah. Yes, we have. So, yeah, we're handicap accessible for the tour.
That's wonderful.
And anybody else too. So.
Because sometimes that's not always the case.
No.
You know, sometimes there's lots of stairs or you know, a rocky hillside or something that people have to negotiate, and you think, okay, how's that going to work, especially if it happens to rain, which of course this year we know it'll be beautiful weather.
Yes.
The sun will shine, it'll be lovely. But I know you brought some images.
I did,
So we can maybe start with images, and if you'd like to talk about them, you can do that as they come up on the screen.
All righty. So that is the top of one of my bark pieces. I take bark off of newly cut down live trees, but this is the top. I don't know where the other one went to, but that is actually eggshell. The white is eggshells, and broomcorn, and then you can just see a little of the bark. There is someplace an image of the whole piece.
It'll probably come up.
We can go find it or not.
Well, it'll probably come up.
Okay. Nope, it's not going to come up. So
look how cute.
Anyway, everybody, I do still do those wood pieces, and I've been working with some cedar naturally since I moved out here, and wood burning, and I do have a lot of that work at my house. But my main focus have been these little critters, and I mostly make everything to hang on the wall. I'll go to great lengths to make something hang on the wall.
Okay.
And this is a fiber piece with encaustic over it. So encaustic is wax, basically. And so it gives this wonderful sort of fleshy feel. And this is actually...
But not creepy.
Yes, they're all a little creepy.
Okay.
Almost all. This one actually has a long story, and I may not get to all of it, but basically I have a friend who had a cyst taken out when she was a young woman. She's 86 now, and the doctor told her that the cyst was actually her twin that she had absorbed into her body. So this piece is called Lois Finally Gets to Meet Her Twin.
Okay.
And she's holding a little sort of fetus critter there.
That makes me think of the aunt in My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Really? I'll have to go back and watch that.
Remember she said that there was teeth or something? Yeah.
And this is another encaustic piece. And I just am, I'm just trying to see what will come out of me, this whole transition from where I used to live, moving out here. I'm just trying to find where I'm really supposed to go.
Well, I think it takes time. I mean, you were 40 years in the other place.
Yeah.
And this place will take some time for you to absorb the place and the place to absorb you, maybe.
Yes, well put.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, and I like to use found materials, and this, of course, is the Spice Girls Go to Radio City Music Hall.
I love it.
Great fun finding those old tins, and
sure.
I had the Barbies around, so.
Part of your random collection.
What's really important to me in all my work is crafting. So all those little arms and legs were cut off, and heads, and just getting the holes, cutting the tins just right, and making sure that it's not going to fall apart. It's really important to me. I come from a craft background, and so here we have. I think this is probably called "You're on the Bus," and I once again took an old little toy truck I found, and just have the happy party in there, complete with dog hanging out the side.
Sure, that's fun. Very fun.
And I love birds, and I do a lot of bird pieces. And a lot of my work now has this layers of chalk paint that I paint on, and then I sand through, and what's underneath is fiber that I've wrapped on there. And I just am still trying to find surfaces that are really intriguing and mysterious. So that's, and this little guy has, what can I say? I just am experimenting. They're all pretty much, 6, 8 inches high. Some of them are, bigger. And I started to use some old gloves and do some different, altering them in some ways. So this is probably called a bird, and the hand is sort of worth 2, and there are 3 in the bush, I forget. It's just really fun. And what I really love are really old beat up gloves. So if anybody's coming on the art tour and coming to my house, please bring me your old crummy gloves.
Okay. That's good
because you can never buy them. That's a little close up. The hair is yak hair that I got in Nepal, and when I was trekking there many years ago. And,
you really were a hippie.
And my poor porter had to haul this yak tail that was pretty stinky at that point around. Oh, here we go. Here's one of my new pieces that I've made out here with cedar and wood burning. And that piece is probably about 2.5 feet tall.
Wow.
And actually the legs is curly willow, or twisted willow, curly willow, I forget, that I found out here. So I am making my way out here.
Slowly but surely incorporating the local elements.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then here's from that first image, that's the rest of the piece. It's a vessel, and that top really actually does lift off.
Oh, that's really beautiful. I was going to tell you that I knew if you brought the images that they'd be in there. I just wasn't sure which order they were going to be in.
Yeah, I tried so hard, but...
It's kind of perfect, though. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. Now, that's a container? So
it is. I wouldn't
decorative container.
Yes, a decorative container.
Okay, that's beautiful.
And that's using white pine bark and ponderosa pine, and the eggshells again. You can see.
Now, does that? I mean, having the eggshells, does it stay? Do you put something on it to seal it, or?
Yes, I do. They're glued down onto a good flat surface, and then I've actually made very fine grout using acrylic paint and calcium carbonate. So it's grouted, and then it is sealed with paste wax. No, I really try my best to make them last because
it's art.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, someday somebody will find that buried in a tomb someplace, and they'll say, What was that about?
Well, I don't know about that.
Or
these could be buried in a tomb, and they'll say, "Why was this buried with this person?"
Yeah, really. Who was this crazy person? Well, now let's talk about the pieces that you brought then.
Well, this one is I just finished the other day, and I'm just trying to work on transitional species, and I think part of being out here in the Northwest, you see a lot of that transformative art from coyote to human and back again.
Of course, right.
Although maybe this is more my psyche rather than that. And then here is yet again another one of those tins, and this is, as you can tell, one of those little artist whatevers. And
like a maquette or whatever?
Yeah, maquette, thank you. And more yak hair, and wood burned. That was the leftovers that didn't make the cut for the Spice Girls.
Yeah, we've got to use every scrap of that yak hair.
And then here's a kingfisher. Birds are just so wonderful to use.
That definitely does have sort of the Northwest feel, like, you know, what you might see in Canada. You know, some of that, or the southeastern Alaska kind of look.
Especially maybe his legs up like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kingfishers out back east look. I guess they're called the belted kingfisher. They have a lot more white on them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a little different out here. But I did a western one.
A western kingfisher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really incredible. So now when people come to your studio, they'll see a nice mix of some of the wood pieces and the bark pieces, and then also some of the newer, what do you call them, morphos?
Morphos. They used to be mummies, and they just morphed into something that's not very mummy-like, so I'm calling them morphos.
Okay, I like it though. And that's interesting because it's just sort of your own evolution. It seems that there are a number of artists this year who kind of taken things in another direction.
Yes.
And I think that's exciting.
Yes, and so everybody be ready on the tour to see new stuff.
Well, it's nice to shake it up and not just say, okay, we're going to go see this person do what we've seen her do a number of times before, but really get a chance to experience something.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and watch your process and your journey.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the dates again, once again.
They are 2 weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the first 2 weekends in October. So go for it. I think it's 10 till 6. Right. And there are a lot of places you can buy your buttons that are $8 and get your brochure so you can figure out where you want to go. And I do want to put in a plug for the Chehalem Cultural Center, which is going to have a display of everybody's work so you can go see it for real. And that's a wonderful way. You can go in there and just sort of plan your trip for the weekend.
Do you know when that display will be up?
Just right when the tour's starting, but there will be an opening reception Friday night, October 2nd.
Perfect. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you so much.
I love seeing what you're doing and catching up with you.
Thank you.
Best wishes.
Okay.